All right, did I finally get it to work? Let's see, let me come over here, fingers crossed. Am I live? It is still waiting for me to join. So frustrating. Let's see. All right, so I think I'm live streaming. All right, so let's see how we can find our way to the new link, if there is such a thing. Here we go. Can I get shareable link? Let's post this into the chat. All right, go here. Great, some people are starting to make their way over. I just posted in the chat of the other one the link for here, so hopefully people will be able to find it. That kind of stinks that it didn't work out today the way that I wanted it to. Um, Let me just make sure these people migrate over. So let me tell you all what had happened. What had happened was, I wonder if I can just end this live stream that's happening here. Again, you would think that after I've been at this for what, 4 years now, that I would have this technology thing down pat. Um, but that is apparently not the case. Okay, so we're deleting the upcoming one. Hopefully, people on that will get kicked out and they will find that there is a live stream going if that goes through correctly. So, welcome everybody. Um, Apologies on my delayed start. I'm about 15 minutes late, though I promise I've been trying for 20 to come online and talk to you all. So, I use a software or a program, hold on, to stream to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And normally it works really easily. Well, they rolled out a really new feature this past week that I saw, and it would allow me to stream in landscape and portrait mode, meaning I'd have one camera going like this and one camera going like that. So I could technically be streaming to shorts. So Instagram shorts, YouTube shorts, TikTok, I could stream there at the same time I'm talking to you on YouTube. So I selected it, and then it gave me this error being like, oh, you don't have the pro plan, so you can't really do that. And so, fine. And I messaged them because I was like, but I can't really take it away. And so it had triggered both of those. And every time I went to go to push, it was failing because I don't have access to send the other way. And even though I reached out to their team beforehand, I was like, hey, I don't want any problems for Monday. Maybe I spoke it into existence or I could see it coming, but there were some problems. But I'm glad everybody was able to eventually find me over here. The other link is totally deleted now. The one that was for 7 and 7:10 and 7:15. All that has gone away and we are live here. So let's see who we have in the chat. Selena, welcome back. I've not seen that name in a little bit. Always a pleasure. Rolls Ferrari, welcome as well. Let me get to where that goes away. Cruise chat with Amanda. You can now. It took me a little bit. This technology stuff, I'm telling you, Amanda, it throws me for a loop every now and again. That's why I try to keep things pretty basic most of the time. Scott Newton, waiting at the airport. Scott, where are you going? I'm actually going to be there first thing in the morning for like a 6:45 a.m. Flight that I am taking. Tom, glad the link worked. I was trying to figure out ways to do that, but eventually we got it over there. I got live finally. You know, the second you think you've got it covered, it always comes back to haunt you. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if that's the joy or the negative side of technology. It's always improving. And every time it improves, it feels like they took something that worked fine, broke it, and said, here's the better version of it. So luckily, it turned out well enough, and we are going now. Hey, Greg, long time, sir. Hope you are doing well. And Scott picking up this time, fly out Wednesday to San Jose. That'll be a beautiful place. So have fun. Hopefully, have some good weather. I flew back from New York on Friday, and I think all up and down the East Coast, flights are being canceled, significantly delayed. The status of air travel these days, I almost just want to take cruise ships everywhere I go and just avoid planes altogether. I mean, you just can't get anywhere on time anymore, and it is quite frustrating. So we'll see how it goes for me tomorrow. David, welcome back. David was one of the few that found me on Facebook the first go round when I was trying to get my technology to work. I think there's two or three people that found it over there, but luckily we've got it working now, it seems. So excellent. Jim, I mean, great story, right? I hope so this time. So this one's booked through work, so I better be getting there, but it's probably always worth checking it. So what Jim's talking about here is on the Facebook page or group. I was telling everybody that I accidentally booked my flight going to Atlanta the wrong direction. And this is not the first time that I've done something like this. So the first time I did it, I still can't believe that I made it this far. The first time I did it, and when I say book the wrong direction, like I'm in Miami trying to get to Atlanta, and my tickets for Atlanta coming to Miami. The first time I did this, I was going to Raleigh, Raleigh Durham, and there's only like two direct flights a day on Delta, and so I have my boarding pass. I don't check any luggage, so I go straight to security. They buzz me through or let me through. I go up to the lounge. I check in there. I'm sitting down enjoying my free or complimentary espresso at that point, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, this isn't making any. I know what it was. It's been actually the same for both of them. I looked down and I was like, what gate am I going out of? Just to see. And I saw the number of it. I was like, that's not one of the gates here. And then it dawned on me that was the Raleigh gate. And I was like, oh, maybe it's giving me my arriving gate, and I need to find the one I'm leaving from. And then I looked and found that nope, actually, I had just booked the completely wrong direction. And so, luckily, the first time I was in the Delta Lounge, and Delta, the agent there changed it, no questions asked. He did it, didn't charge me a fee or anything. This next time, I don't have status these days. I go on more cruises than I do airlines, and airlines have just made it super expensive to get status. And so I've pulled away from that a lot. But this time I realized it on the way. I was 5 minutes away from the airport that I realized it because I looked to see again where my gate was so that I could determine where I wanted to grab dinner really quick before heading to the plane. And again, I saw a T gate and I was like, we don't have T gates in Miami. And then I was like, oh crap, that's the Atlanta gate. And I booked the wrong thing. So that one cost me about $120. Luckily, I did not have the basic package. So with American and Delta, for the most part, you can get basic. You don't get anything with it, and you have a change fee. In this case, luckily, I booked the higher ticket version, and so they did change it without a fee. But I still had to pay the difference for $120, which was absolutely no fun, and I had to wait in line. So I didn't wind up getting dinner either because I just didn't have time at that point. So, if you're ever going to an airport, make sure you book the right direction. I price them out all the time, and I do a lot of one-way tickets instead of booking return or round trip tickets. So that probably is what caused most of that issue. Very nice, Greg. Toronto is a beautiful place. I hope the weather started to turn there. What were the temperatures like up there this time of year? Ooh, any late night recommendations? What airport are you flying into, Rolls for? I'm going to assume Miami is what you were talking about here. I would say you want to stay somewhere or go somewhere close to the hotel. There is a Pinecrest Bakery that is here in Miami that is open 24/7 for easy food there in downtown. There's also Manolo's Grill, which is open 24/7. That's going to be more of an authentic Latin location, but the food is supposed to be good. I've personally never been there, but it is also open 24/7. I think there's also pizza spots that are open fairly late as well if you're coming into downtown. So any about 10 o'clock is really around here when things start to shut down. So anything after that, you can want to look for some of those options. Jim, you totally should. You'd never know when somebody's going to make an error. I mean, could happen to anyone, right? It's pretty crazy that you would think booking an airline, we would catch those kind of things, that we would pay attention to detail. And sometimes I don't personally. So I'm hopeful that there's other people that don't as well. For Toronto to be in the mid 80s, that's pretty warm for them. So I was in New York Thursday and Friday, and it was, I think, 89 in New York. And everybody's like, haha, you're used to this. You're in Miami. And I was like, no, like, we don't have heat like this. Miami gets warm. We had a heat advisory today. We were about 89, but traditionally, we don't get that hot here either. Fun trivia fact for you, and I think a lot of people forget this. Miami has actually never been in the triple digits. As long as they've been recording it, we have never hit 100 degrees. And I know there's a lot of those states in the south, in the middle, all the way up to DC. I mean, you all will hit 100 degrees in a heartbeat in the summer. Miami's never done that. I think being so close to water really helps keep us regulated. Though, even in New York, they'd have like a low of like 74 and then it would skyrocket to 89. We stay a lot more closer. So we're like 81 for our low, 89 for the high when we do that kind of stuff. Yeah, Rolls Ferrari. I would also say consider where you're eating at your hotel. You might just want to do something super easy. We also have a huge Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever platform you want to use. The one thing that I've done in the past that's worked out well is if I know about how far away I am from my hotel, I'll go online from the ride share, the taxi, and I will order food to be delivered to the hotel and try to time it when I'm going to be there or about 5 minutes after I get there. And so that's one way that you know that you will have some food. You won't have to venture out and get it. But that's a more advanced strategy where you're not even to the hotel and you're ordering food from your ride share. I do it and it has worked out wonderfully, especially like you say, for these late night flights and you might not have had dinner or that Biscoff cookie just, didn't get the job done for you. I think that's a really good option for you as well. I mean, John, let me come back to that in 1 second. I just remembered I need to do something. There we go. Do you think cruising is still a good value for money vacations? As prices have gone up, it's hard to find a balcony under 120 a night for a 7 night cruise. I still do think that it is a good value. And the reason, um, Amit, that I think that is, if you price it out to what a hotel is going to cost you. And so a hotel is going to run you the same exact price. And it's not going to come with food, it's not going to come with entertainment. If you want to do an all inclusive kind of resort where those things are going to be included, it's going to be significantly more expensive. So, yes, cruises have definitely gotten more expensive. I'm feeling the pinch there as well. But what I'll say is everything else has gotten expensive too. Everything has gone up in price. Especially here in the US, inflation is definitely a concern. You can still find some decent ones. I was actually just looking at the Celebrity Constellation out of San Juan, and she was coming in for a 7 night cruise. I could do it for $2,000 or $1,000 for a 7 night cruise and an interior guarantee. So excuse me, if you look around, you can find some. Just know when you find some that are maybe San Juan, they're Barbados, places like that, you're probably going to pay a pretty penny to get the flight down there. And so just make sure you're looking at the all in kind of prices. Royal Caribbean, if that's who you tradition do, has definitely gone up significantly in price more than others. A great value cruise line is still MSC Cruises. That is one of my go tos that I go when I try to save some money. Is I'll go look at MSC. They have some wonderful destinations as well. If you want to do Europe, you want to do something a little bit more extravagant or exotic, they're going to have a decent cruise for you. It's not going to be just Caribbean. And they've got their very first Alaska sailings going right now, too. So check them out. I think that they do a fantastic job and well worth the money. All right. So, um, who all do we have in the comments? I feel like I made it through those pretty quick. What else is on you all's mind? While you're queuing up some questions that we can talk about, wanted to say, I am going to the airport tomorrow morning, and so I'm going to have an airport conversation with you all and get your thoughts on this, especially as regards to airport lounges. So I know a lot of you do travel down to Florida for your cruises, or you go to Texas, the West Coast, or overseas, which is my favorite. And recently, I shouldn't say even recently, the last couple of years, I have not been going to the airport lounges. I've been trying to go. I've got access through Priority Pass, and I used to have Delta because of status over there. But I've stopped going, even though it's included, I could get in. I just look at the lines out the door and say, gosh, this isn't worth it. This does not look like a fun experience to go into the lounge. Number one, you got to wait like 50 minutes or an hour to get in. And I don't know about you all, but I'm not showing up to the airport with 5 hours to kill. I'm getting there about an hour before departure. It gives me time to get through security. And I just honestly don't have time to go through the lounge. When I have had time, they're crowded. The food is nothing to write home about in there. It's a pasta and a soup and some salad, maybe a cookie if you're lucky. The espresso machine's probably my biggest takeaway in there. I do love an espresso machine, but I don't get free drinks either. So, because I don't drink alcohol that you all know. And so it loses a lot of the value. I'd much rather go, place my order on my phone with Starbucks, go and pick it up, pay the $5, and just skip the whole lounge experience. The only time that I kind of wish that I was going more into the lounges is when something goes wrong, when something goes bump in the night, and I need to make a change. Like when I booked my ticket in the wrong direction, I need somebody to change it. The lounge would have been so much nicer and easier to do that versus having to wait in line for assistance outside of security. Just it takes forever. So, what are you all's thoughts on the lounges these days? Is it something you go to? Do you still see value in it? I know the credit cards push it pretty strong. Luckily for me, I still see value in the premium credit card that I have and the fee that I'm paying, even without it. I still see value in those cards. Hey, Lucy, we'll be on the Queen Mary 2 next week for 2 nights for Lucy's wedding to Emma Cruz's Rolo June. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Lucy's mom. Um, you're going on the Queen Mary. That part I got next week for 2 nights. It's only doing a 2 night sailing. That's super short to Emma Cruz's Rolo. Emma's getting married? I don't think I even caught that. I've not seen one of her videos in a while. Maybe, but give me the dibs on what's happening there. And welcome back. You're one of the names that I recognize from when I did this before. This is my third or fourth in a row now that I've done. So I'm trying to be consistent every week, coming on with live streams. Love coming and hanging out with you all to answer questions, see what cruise topics are out there, and just have a really good time. So, David, you can reserve in advance, but I think I always get nervous. I think what is it? The Turkish Airlines allows you to in Miami between Terminal H and J to do the reservation. But it always goes, when are you going to show up? And I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up when I show up. You all know I like to be the last one places. And so I just have always been really nervous to do that. I guess there's no harm if I don't actually get there in time and make it in, but they do drop the reservation within like 15 minutes of your allotted time. So I've just always been kind of uncomfortable with it. If I'm going internationally, if I'm flying outside of the US back to the US, I will go to the lounges. Lounges outside of the US are 10 times better than what we have here in the US. They're not as crowded. And even if they are huge and they can handle the amount of people that are coming through it. And they're cleaner, nicer. Food probably is about the same kind of stuff, though. I've had some really cool food. I think Seoul, South Korea had one of my favorite lounges from a food perspective and what you could get there. So, Greg, did you go to which credit card did you go to that includes the restaurant pass again? Is that the Bank of America one? I know it's still, I think, still had it back in the day. Me and Greg like to talk credit cards often on, hey, what are we doing? So it depends. Is it Ami? Amit? It's probably Amit if I had to guess. It depends on your priority pass, actually. So I know several companies used to allow you to, instead of going to lounges, they would give you a $20 off for a free meal at a restaurant instead. And that was a wonderful feature that you could use. And I definitely took advantage of that several times. But I know that a lot of cruise lines over, not cruise lines, credit cards over the last year or two have pulled away from that feature. And so they don't allow you to do that anymore. So my priority pass that I have does not allow me to do this. So it depends. So check it before you go and say, hey, let's do it. Make sure your app is going to talk to you that you can do that. No worries at all. I just wanted to make sure that Lucy's mom, that I was getting the correct information over to you. Yeah, I mean, definitely make sure you're checking it out in advance before you sit down and just expect it to happen. You want to make sure that you know you're going to, number one, that your priority pass is going to support it, and number two, that you're going to a qualified restaurant or food establishment. The lounges that have a grab and go, those I certainly appreciate. That makes it super easy. If I just want some food or soda, I can just grab and go, and I don't need all the hoopla of going into the lounge. I think I'm fine just bypassing that these days. Hey, Tiffany, welcome back. Have I utilized the Crown Lounge on Royal Caribbean to book shows? We usually book cruises last minute and we go to the box office at embarkation. I have not, Tiffany. I book them through the phone. So I'm going through the Royal Caribbean app, and that's where I'm booking them. Oftentimes, when I get on board, I'll scroll through, see what's coming up, and I will do it. Um, the concierge in the Crown Lounge can actually do this for you if you want them to. The Suite Lounge can also do it, the concierge there. So have I done that before? No, I don't. Maybe once or twice. If I've had mom and some other people on and I didn't get into Aqua Show, that might be a great example here. That I have done. But I traditionally don't do that because when I do that, I then feel like I need to tip them. Because if I don't utilize them, if I don't really talk to them, I don't feel like I have to tip them. Not that I'm being cheap. If I need help, I'm glad to pay for it. But that is one of the thoughts that goes through my mind is I don't want that expectation, even though there's some wonderful concierges out there. I don't think that that's expected, but it's something that it probably is more expected of myself that I'm holding them out there for. That's what I was thinking, Greg. I've been contemplating this as well, and I'm not going to say too much on all of this because you know my situation more than most. But I might make it there as well at some point. We'll see how everything changes. I feel like the credit card world, when we talk about it, is consistently shifting these days. It is every day that I'm reading that MX has changed all of these features. You know, Cities changed this, Chase has changed that, Capital One has changed this, Bank of America has changed that. It's been all over the place with what they're changing, and it's changing at such a fast pace. I'm not sure I'm doing a good job keeping up. So it's a scenic cruise on the coast. Rolo is Emma's dog. She made clones for charity. I bought one of them. Excited Emma will be Lucy's mom-in-law. Very nice, very nice. So I did know about the dog that she made clones for charity. She's always doing super cool stuff. So if there's a content creator out there that I truly respect is Emma. I think she does a really solid job with what she's bringing to the table, how she's creating, and the engagement and community that she's been able to build. She's probably one of the ones that I respect the most on what she's done. So please tell her I said hello. Back in the day, she actually came into one or two of my live streams, probably a year or two ago at this point. And I was like, Emma knows who I am. Emma's seen the channel. If you've not checked out Emma, I'm sure most of you do watch Emma Cruises. Make sure that you will do that. So, what is your favorite Peloton instructor? You all can see that I have my wonderful Peloton back here that I need to use more. The gym that I go to now actually has Pelotons in it. And so, oftentimes, I will go there. Um, my favorite instructor, Alex. Alex, hands down. If I want somebody who's going to kick my butt, who is going to encourage me the way that apparently I need to be encouraged, it's going to be Alex. I like his music. I like his style. Um, I like him a lot. My other go-to is Christine, which I don't necessarily like saying Christine because she I like her. She's more soul cycle focused, which I like. And what I mean by that is when she's on the bike going, she'll give us pauses where she's like, "Hey, just Yeah, I'm gonna leave you alone for a little bit. Just keep this pace and just do this. It's more of a meditative style experience, which I really appreciate. Though she tells stories about menopause, and I'm sure she's, relating to a different version of people, but I do often like her style. I used to do more of the Dennis Morton and those kind of classes that they do, the PTR, forget what it's even called now. I haven't done one in ages. Um, but I used to do those all the time and loved them. So let's see if I can get on it. If you want to follow me on there, it is Cruise Ship Spinner. Let me see if I can get that in the actual chat. Am I? I'm not even in the YouTube chat. Look at me. Let me get that pulled up and I will post it in there. So if you want to follow me, you'll be able to do that. I'm gonna- We'll skip this. Here we go. Mute that. I'll scroll down. There we go. So it is Peloton name Cruise Ship Spinner. And you can follow me on there. Not that I've got a lot to show these days, but it'll be some nice encouragement for me to get on there and do something. I've been thinking about it. I've been off for, I think, since my Bangladesh trip. When I came back sick, I got my schedule off. Now the summer's here and it's crazy busy, and I'm really bad for falling off during the summer with work schedules. You would think that in the summer I'd be even more trying to look my best, and the summers are not good for me. Again, I just got back from New York. I'm flying to Chicago tomorrow. I've got more trips coming up. I've got Virgin. So maybe I'll make it on a Virgin on the Virgin sailing this week. I'll get to go because I've never done any of their classes. I'd love to try out one of the bungee classes just because it looks super fun to try out. Hey, Lana, if you have the key and you have already booked a show online and have a set time, if you show up to the show that's a different time, will you still be able to get into the specific key area? Yes, is my understanding that you will be. The key with the key, see what I did there, is you still have to show up 15 minutes early. If you do not show up 15 minutes early, they're gonna give your seats to somebody else. So just make sure you give yourself plenty of time, get there early, and you should be in good shape, Lana. If Charles or Charlie, good evening. If you were retired, what is the absolute longest cruise you consider? Oh, good question. The longest I've actually been on a cruise ship was 3 7 nights back to back. And this was COVID era when there was like nobody on the ship. You could get it for dirt cheap. You could work remote, wasn't a problem. Was 21 days. I've got the transatlantic coming up with Princess. That is 15 days. And then I've got a weekend straight after that. So 16, 17. I'll be coming in at 18 for it. Um, I think it depends on the schedule, where it's going. I probably a month is what I'm thinking, Charlie. I don't know that I would want to sign up for a cruise that was longer than 30 days. Um, I feel like not necessarily that I'd want to come home, but that I would just want to get out of the Groundhog Day. Staying on a ship so much. Everything's done. It has its own schedule, which I don't mind a schedule, but I think 30 days, and then I might want to try something different, maybe 45. Um, Unless it's just like an around the world and it's always going somewhere different, somewhere unique. Maybe then I would consider staying on longer. But the thing that gets me the most, Charlie, is the sea days. Normally, the longer the sailing like that, the more sea days you're going to have. And that's where I get bored. Like we did when we did South America, we went from Buenos Aires over to Santiago and we went by Ushuaia. We did the southern route. We had to miss our next port. I think we had like 4 sea days in a row. And both me and Urush, my good travel buddy that I was with, were like, oh gosh, like this is a lot. This is a lot of sea days. So it'd be really interesting to see on the transatlantic crossing with Princess, which is going to have, I think, 8 sea days in a row. I'm going to double my longest streak. How I hold up, if I enjoy that experience, if I'm able to figure out what's my groove, if I get tired of reading, I just don't know what's going to happen on that. Actually, it might be more sea days than even that. But that's a great question, Charlie. I would say definitely a month, maybe 45. Anything more than that, I don't know that that's going to be for me. I think it's going to be a little bit too go with too many sea days. What would you do, Charlie? You've been on a good number of cruises at this point. How long could you go, my friend? Yeah, so Amit, we're talking about royal pricing has definitely gone up for Europe. They are more expensive than Celebrity. This is something that I've been talking about for a while now. Royal Caribbean is definitely more expensive than Celebrity these days. It has had a tremendous marketing. It's had tremendous success. People are going there and they are paying these stupid amounts. If you want to pay less, look towards the premium cruise line, which is supposed to be Celebrity. And it is a much cheaper experience. I just booked a 7 night in September on the Celebrity Beyond for $1,500 in an Aqua Suite. Great. I mean, that's or not Aqua Suite, Aqua Class. So definitely look to Celebrity. The other thing you're going to notice if you're looking at cruises in Europe, Amit, is I just saw this on one of the Pinnacle Facebook groups. Is you're not going to find a lot of unique sailings with Royal Caribbean. You're going to find really boilerplate Mediterranean style cruises for their big ships. You're not going to find a lot up in Scandinavia. So if you're thinking they used to have cruises that left from Stockholm, maybe from Copenhagen, even from Southampton, you're not going to find many royal ships up there. You're going to find them more in the Mediterranean, sailing out of Barcelona and Greece and doing those kind of tracks. And so, me personally, if I'm going to Mediterranean, I'm not going to do a cruise that I can do here. Like, I want to go to a unique port, somewhere I've not been, or somewhere that I'm really interested in going back to. And so, I would look more towards Celebrity Cruise Lines or MSC again for a Mediterranean cruise. Mediterranean, I was talking about doing a group cruise on either World Asia that's coming out or doing it on the Euribia, I think it is, that is doing, or maybe it was I think it was the Euribia, that had some really cool. One was going to Tunis down in northern Africa, and then the other one was going to do Malta, both places I had not been to. So, really great itineraries that you're going to find on other cruise lines outside of Royal. If you want to do a private island in Greece and not really even see Greece, Royal Caribbean is going to be the best for you. Uh, Thank you. I don't know if you're talking about me here. I'm going to assume that you are, but I have a feeling this was 8 minutes ago. It might be in regards to something I said, but I'm going to take it as you think that I'm great. Like, thank you. All right, let's see what we got here. What is the oldest RC ship that you've been on, and which one isn't been cared for as much as it should? Oh, so great question. I'll break this out. I've been in on majority of Royal Caribbean's fleet. The only ship that I have not been on is Rhapsody of the Seas, outside of Quantum and Icon class sailings. Is it? And I've done Empress and Majesty back in the day. I did not make it onto ships older than that. And these days, I've not done a old ship. I did Radiance not too long ago, and that ship was beautiful. Like it felt really well cared for and kept up. I think a lot of that has to do just in the classic design style that they chose to use. Ships that need some love, Grandeur of the Seas. Definitely Grandeur of the Seas. She has needed love for a while. They tried selling her right before COVID. It fell through, and they have yet to get rid of Grandeur of the Seas. She is probably pretty low on my bucket list. Liberty of the Seas is one that I would have said up until recently. I've not been back on her recently, but Liberty of the Seas just had a really big dry dock. And so I'm hopeful that they made enough changes to bring her up to speed to be in good shape there. But that was another one I had. But Grandeur is one that I definitely do not want to go on again because it was a rust bucket when I did it probably 5 years ago. I do have Brilliance of the Season, another older ship coming up in November. But I think that one again is going to be fine, very similar to the Radiance and that classic style that comes with it. Hey, Natasha, I scheduled this one just for you so that you could be here and join us all. Thank you. So glad you were able to make it. I know we were in the comments on some of the videos that you were trying to make it. Always a pleasure and welcome to the live stream. Normally, I do these on Tuesday night because if I'm coming in from a cruise on Monday, it's just a really long day for me to do this. I'm out of pocket tomorrow, and so we are scooting it up to Monday. So I'm excited most of you figured out that the link that I had initially did not work. Hopefully, I'll get this fixed for the next time. But looks like most of you are able to find your way over here. You're into Ben and Leanne. I don't know who these people are. Commenter. Oh, you're now I'm getting it. We're talking about Peloton. This is the bad thing with chats. Like, email, if I go into Gmail, it'll keep all my emails kind of together. So if somebody replies, it stacks it with the other reply and keeps the conversation going. I wish there was a feature here that I could do that as well, and see conversation views so that I can see what people are referencing here. Ben and Leanne. Ben is good. I do like Ben. I don't do him too terribly often unless I'm just looking around. I don't know that I've done Leanne much. I don't do, I think my other one that I'll do is Tunde. I like Tunde as well, but she will kick my butt. She does a lot of the HIT classes, which I used to do a ton of, and those were really fun. That's actually what I should start doing again. Those were always good. Hey, Maria. Maria is always leaving me comments on videos, giving me encouragement. So glad to see you in the chat, Maria, and thank you. On that note, I know that she or somebody else is probably going to remind me. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, if you will, for me. That is important to us creators to show that you're enjoying yourself, and hopefully, the algorithm will show that to others. I'll see if I can come back to this. Is it Commenter? I'm trying to I'm trying to figure out how you pronounce your screen name here. Come tier. Come here. Maybe. I don't know. I can't add you right now on Peloton because I'm on a live stream, but if I see you come through on mine, I'll certainly cross add you. Thank you, Maria. I am trying to do better with shorts. So, for those of you that know me, you know me from longs. I have not done a lot of short content. I'm trying to do at least one video per day, and they're definitely short. They're normally 60 to a minute, maybe. I think the one I did yesterday was 2 minutes, but it really puts you inside the head of the weekend cruiser, what I'm thinking about. I can't tell you how many times I'm walking around, Maria, and I'm like, oh, I should tell everybody this. Like, I get super excited for the video idea, but I have nothing on me to record or do anything. The biggest thing is I need sound. And so I actually ordered a little pouch that is a DJI Mini audio, because audio is super important for when you're recording. Like now I've got this headset. I'm not sure that I love the sound of it, but it's easy. It's what I use for my work calls, and hopefully the quality of it's okay. But this, I just clip it on here. I've got a receiver that I plug into my phone, and I can actually take it with me wherever I want to go. So I'm really hopeful, especially being on Virgin, that I'm going to get a little bit more of those nuggets that I'm able to throw you all's way, take you behind the scenes a little bit, and probably talk a little bit more cruise news in the shorts. Right now, I'm posting them across all the platforms. So YouTube is probably my preferred one at this point, mainly because it allows me to then tag it back to a video of some kind, a long form video. I do Instagram as well, and I have been posting to TikTok, but I mean, I don't like posting to TikTok. My biggest fear with shorts is that somebody's going to come along, a bot or something that, is just stealing content and posting it. That's what I don't want to see happen. But it very well could. YouTube has a better handle on keeping that from happening, whereas TikTok feels like it's the wild, wild west. I'm constantly seeing user and then 18 digits or numbers behind it has posted something. And I know that that's not the original content creators videos. And so I hate watching that stuff and giving credit to somebody who doesn't deserve that. Hey, Todd. Oh, your first ever river cruise on TUI. Have you gone on this river cruise yet? What was your experience with TUI? Hungary? Oh, it sounds like it's coming up in August. Hungary is going to be absolutely beautiful. I mean, you're going to be going on a beautiful river, lots of great places, lots of castles, lots of amazing food in this area, if nothing else. I've done this as a road trip before, and it is just wonderful. So, Todd, when you do this, you have to come back, let us know how it went. I'd be super excited. I've not been on a river cruise yet. Pricing has kind of held me back for a little bit, but I keep looking at it. But I haven't found the ability to do one just yet. More than 7 days would be a lot on a cruise ship for you. Totally get that. I mean, look, you have to be retired, you have to have a life. The thing that people don't realize, and even I experienced this doing just weekends, is when you are gone for a significant period of time. In my case, it used to be every weekend I was gone. I'm still gone pretty much so every weekend. But like I don't have a strong connection to Miami because of that. I've got a few friends here, but if you can't hang out with people on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when are you going to see them? You can go out for happy hour on Monday night. It makes a really tough schedule. You also learn that people are going to get married, people are going to get sick, people are going to die. Life events are going to happen. And if you're out on the sea, you could miss those things. And so it's really tough wanting to live in both worlds. And so that is definitely something that I would take into account with a job, definitely 7 days. But otherwise, those are things that I think about when I think of significant periods of time on a cruise ship. Maybe indefinitely. That is a good answer. I mean, if you're retired and your kids don't have kids yet, why not? But why not bring the grands? I mean, they can make Pinnacle in 2 years. I think that'd be fantastic, Charlie. When in September? It is. I think I've talked to Merrill about this, Dave. It's September 6th. Is when I'm going to be on the Beyond. So I think I am missing you all by a week or two. Let's see. Norwegian has some good Baltic cruises, also for Greece. Celestial is good line too. What do you think about Celestial, Amit? I have not done Celestial at this point. I've seen some videos on it. It looks like it's a really good price point. What are your thoughts on Celestial cruises? Norwegian does have some interesting cruises, I will say. I just scripted, and everybody who's been on the live screen recently, my video on why I will never go on Norwegian again, unless it's just, in your point, something that I think I couldn't do without or an itinerary I have to go on. But Norwegian is not my favorite. I did one 3 night, and I scripted the video, and I'm just going to go through and list all the reasons why I would not do it again. And there's probably 25 of them, if I had to guess, is how long the list is. And so I'm going to try to keep it a concise video, but I'm just going to go all the way through them. I may drive one or two of them home that really got under my skin. But for the most part, it was just a lot of small stuff on that ship that I did not like, did not enjoy, and honestly couldn't figure out or didn't understand. Going on as many cruises as I have in many different lines, Norwegian was a different world for me, even me. And so I worry that if I can't figure it out, somebody going there for the first time is really going to struggle to pull it together. Douglas, don't worry about being late, my friend. I was late too. So it was supposed to start at 7. I don't think we actually got going until about 7:15 thanks to my technical issues and not being able to connect well. But welcome, and you found us on our different day. Normally these are on Tuesdays. Here we are on Monday. So hopefully they'll be good, Maria. Definitely let me know what's working, what's not. If you have questions on shorts, I'm glad to tag you and respond to those as well. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is, you all are the best inspiration for ideas and what to talk about because you ask such thoughtful questions. And I go, well, gosh, like if I keep getting this question, like clearly it's on everybody's mind, maybe I should make a video and just address it so that you can find it and make it easier on you. So more to come, Maria. Rolls Ferrari, Super Mario, great guy. I've met him several times. We've had dinner. We've been on Freedom of the Seas together. I don't know that I could ever do that. I mean, he has given up so much to live a life on cruise ships, and he's very happy with his decision. He made it, and he has not looked back. He has been a bug in the rug for what the past 20 years at this point, loving his decision to live full time on cruise ships. I'm just not sure that that's something that I think I would ever enjoy. I would certainly get tired of going to Nassau every weekend. He is going to some different places these days, but it would be a lot. I think that it would get very old after, I don't know, the first year and a half, 2 years, maybe. The one thing that we talked about, or that I learned that you could even do on a recent cruise, I was talking to people, and they were saying their life goal was to take a cruise from Florida over to Europe, stay the season on that cruise ship, and then bring it back on the crossing on the way back. I had never even thought about this, but what a great idea and way to spend your time. It'd probably take you, what is that, 4, 5 months? I imagine that you would be on the ship. So I might would consider doing that. It's also going to be European ports, which I think would be awesome. You won't have to buy your ticket there or back because you're just going to stay on the cruise ship. I thought that that was a brilliant idea. I had never even considered the possibility of staying on a ship for a season, having it go to Europe and then come back. And so super excited to maybe one day figure that out. Oh, Vancouver to Japan would be absolutely great. And then Japan up to Korea. That is going to take you a while, Maria. I mean, you definitely have to consider those things because it is. How long is that? I'm thinking that's probably going to be close to 30 days, at least 20, that you're going to be out there at sea. And you definitely got to think about, hey, what am I trading off? Amit commenting on Celestial here is great. They have a great bar menu. It's probably the best at sea. The food for that price point is very good. I love how you phrase that because I think for any price point, like I can be game. Sometimes I need to eat just to stay alive. I don't necessarily need to eat to enjoy myself, and maybe I could lose some weight. But I'd be glad to go on a cruise ship with a little bit not as good food if I knew it was going to cost me something cheaper. That I could do as long as it's not slop or disgusting, I'll be absolutely fine. Do you have any pets to deal with when you're cruising? We have a cat now that is that is a challenge. I don't, Douglas, and this is the exact reason why I don't have anything that depends on me for life. I actually do have four or five. I think I've got four at this. No, I've got five. I've got five orchids that I do a really good job with. Actually, I'm watering them now because I like to soak them. But I do a really good job with orchids. I'm a good plant dad for orchids only, at least. Animals require way too much effort, way too much boarding. There's a boarding place right across the street from where I live, but it would cost me an arm and a leg. And I would feel like the dog belonged more to the boarding group than it would to me. Cats, I think, are a little bit easier because you can feed them. They have their litter box, things of that nature. You may still need somebody to come and check on them, but they will do. They're a little bit less low maintenance, if you will. But no, I've never had an animal for this exact reason that I don't know what I would do for because I don't think that I would stop going on cruises because of that. I love to sleep. I am if I got any animal that would wake me up in the morning that needed to be fed, I would be rehousing that dog or cat in a heartbeat because I want to sleep and wake up on my own terms. I cannot do it. My mom has a wonderful dog. She's got a not a labradoodle, a golden doodle that will sleep with her, and she's a sleepyhead. Will sleep with her throughout the morning and doesn't bother her one bit. She gets up whenever she wants to. That I could do, but it is a risky bet going in with a dog on when they're going to be waking you up, or a cat for that matter, if they want to get fed. Speaking of dogs, Beth here with her Yorkie. I actually, my first dog that I ever had that our parents got us, that mom was the one who wound up taking care of, was a Yorkie. BJ was his name. Stood for Brandon and Jeremy, me and my brother's names. So you took a solo cruise in 2024. Felt kind of lonely. Thinking about trying again. How many did you take before feeling comfortable? Great question here. It's something I think you're always going to work on, Beth. Like, I don't think that, and it depends on your personality. There's some people that go on their first cruise and they are, just as happy as they can be, just as comfortable as they can be solo on their first cruise. There's other people, and I would include myself in this, where it's a constant kind. I've gotten, of course, more used to it over the years, but it's definitely one where, especially restaurants, eating in the dining room, like I can still feel self conscious for the first 5 minutes. That's probably the only time or place where I do, because otherwise nobody knows you're by yourself. Like that is you may be having a coffee by yourself and they just assume that somebody has not shown up or maybe the people you're with don't drink coffee. The only time you give yourself away on being by yourself is in the dining room. Even at the theater, when you're in the theater by yourself, I don't think people really think about it. Somebody probably just crashed out and needed to go to bed early. So a lot of it, Beth, is it's in our heads when we go on cruises. But I would say to get to where you really feel comfortable with it, I would stay with the same cruise line. So at least you're learning the rules of the road, the policies, how everything kind of works out before venturing out. Get a little bit more comfortable with that, so you take one variable off the table. And then from there, probably three or four is where I say, I think the second one, you're going to take the lessons that you learned from the last one. You're going to go and have a great time. I think that that's going to continue. And the more that you do, the better it will get. And you'll get out of your head a little bit because you know the routine, you know what's going on, and people are so friendly. The thing that I've come to realize is there's solo cruisers that go on solo cruises. Some of us, we want to be by ourselves. That we don't want to talk to other people. Some of us go by ourselves, and we are begging people to talk to us. And I think that you kind of create that energy yourself. So if you want to talk to people, just smile, say hi, acknowledge their presence. People will talk back to you. Sometimes this is because they see you by yourself and they figure, hey, we'll do something nice for this person. I don't mind that. If as long as I'm in a mood to have a conversation, there's sometimes where people will start chatting me up, and I'm being insular. I just want to do my own thing, and then I just don't really engage with the conversation. It too fades out. And so I would say take the conversation how you want to. Some people again, and it depends on the day for me. Like I can't say that I'm always extroverted, always introverted. It really just depends on probably even the hour that you get me, not even just the day. Maria, it is close to 30 days for what you're doing. That's going to be wonderful. And if you're doing it as a back to back, that's going to be super cool, especially when you trade off all the people on the second sailing and get to know a whole new group of people that are going to join you. I would love to do this too, Greg. Granted, Maria's cruise actually sounds really good too, going up to Japan. But I think I'm gonna have to do that as a land-based trip next year with my nephew for one of his 16th birthday party. Not 16th birthday gift was a trip, and he chose the Middle East initially, which right now you all know going to the Middle East probably isn't something a lot of travelers are doing. And so his second guess bet was let's go to Tokyo, let's go to Osaka, and then we're going to go over to Shanghai for a little bit. But doing the Australia to Vancouver, I would love to do too. Talk about a ton of sea days in that, Greg. The Australian cruises, like I would love to go there, but to go to Vatnu and the different islands that they've got, it's a ton of sea days. It's like a long 12-night sailing, and you've got like 7 sea days in there. It's been tough to wrap my head around that, but I'll wind up doing it one of these days, maybe in retirement, if nothing else. Hey, Gene, welcome back. Just back from MSC. What did you think, Gene? Always curious of other people's feedback. I know you've done MSC before, I believe, but how was this experience? Let me know what you thought. I feel like people don't always trust me when I say MSC is a good cruise line. It is a great value cruise line, and they love hearing it from other people as well. Rose Farr, you did your first solo last year. Wound up sitting next to two great couples. Wouldn't trade the experience for anything. That is one thing that if you do like meeting people, when you go by yourself, you meet people. When you go with even one other person, you meet less people because you're just not approachable. You're already in a conversation, you're talking to somebody. And so, unless you actually turn to people and start bringing people into your group's conversation, you will meet a whole lot of, not a lot of people unless you go solo. Because when you're sitting there by yourself, you're open to conversations because you're not already in one. And so, if you do like meeting people, hearing their stories, learning about them, going by yourself is a great fit. Beth, definitely come back to one of the other live streams, comment on a video if you want, but let us know what you choose, what you want to do. The other option that you can do, if you don't really want to go by yourself again, I say it's the best of both worlds. Make sure you sign up for the group cruise newsletter in the comments down below if you want to come and cruise with me and with others that watch the Weekend Cruiser. We are a great group. I'm looking at doing maybe a weekend in January, February. I know I teased you all a few weeks ago with a more extravagant kind of menu. I think I'm going to pass on that and go for a weekend, probably on Celebrity Reflection. That is where I think I would enjoy the most, and that you all probably would enjoy the most too. So sign up for that. You'll be the first one to get notified when that comes through. And that the reason I say that gives you best of both worlds. You go by yourself, but you have people to have dinner with, go to shows with, grab drinks with. We wind up becoming your friend group, and you leave making new friends for the rest of your life. A lot of them are here in this chat now that I'm getting to engage with, that stay connected, and some super great people. Maria being one of these who's come on the group cruises, but she loves going on solo cruises. And you always meet amazing people. You really do. You get to meet people if that's what you want to do. It certainly opens you to that 100%. I know. Greg's remember back in the day, I almost did an Australian cruise. I had one booked and COVID came along and kind of destroyed the hopes of that. But with that, my philosophy on where I'm cruising to, where I'm traveling to also shifted because, shocker, I'm getting older. We're all getting older. And when I think about an Australian cruise, I can do that when I'm more senior, when I'm in my 70s. Hopefully, I'm still cruising around in my 80s. I can do Australia at any time. Sydney, Melbourne, New Zealand, all those places, Auckland. I can do those as a more senior adult. They're quite accessible. However, do I want to do India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Laos, Machu Picchu in Peru? These are just some of the places that I've been to in the last year, maybe 2 years, that I would not do. I've gotten sick on three of those trips. And so that's not something I'm going to want to do when I'm probably older. And so I'm trying to knock out a lot of places in this world that I just think are not risky per se, but from a physical and health perspective, a place where I need to go and knock them out now while I'm in pretty decent shape. The Seattle Japan cruise is the idea of a solo traveler I met in my last transatlantic. I love getting feedback from others on what cruises I should go to. I absolutely have booked cruises thanks to you all's feedback. That is a thing. Or I learn about them. Like if there's a weekend cruise that comes out, especially that's unique, let me know. I am there. Warren, a big fan of solo cruising. The thing that I like the most about solo cruising that it taught me about myself is it gives you this certain level of freedom, liberation. You get to learn that I only have to do what I want to do. Anytime you travel with anyone, you are having to compromise, go with the flow, and do certain things that you may not have signed up to do. When you are solo cruising, you get to pick exactly what you want to be doing. The best part of it is, I remember the first time I kind of had this empowerment moment. I was sitting in a show on some cruise, and I don't even know what ship it was, and the show was not good. It just was. I didn't like the music. I didn't like the performers. And I'm sitting there being like, why am I here? I'd rather be in bed. And I was like, why are you here then? If you don't want to be here, leave. And so I did exactly that. I stood up and left. And granted, I didn't make a scene. I didn't storm out, or anything like that. But I was already probably close to the back, sitting on the aisle. I just politely got up and left. And it felt wonderful to say, I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. If I'm no longer enjoying something, I can stop doing it. I don't have to force myself to make it through the end of whatever it may be. I can leave whenever I want. And I think that's been amazing. Am I going on Margaritaville? Let's see when they come to Miami, Dean wants to know. Great question here, Dean. So I was just reading up on this last week. So Port Miami has officially signed their first, how did they phrase this? First consistent cruise ship. That's not the term they used. They used another term to say, hey, it's going to come here every week. But they booked Margaritaville. So Margaritaville is adding to their fleet. They're going to have their third ship. I don't know when it comes out. I imagine next year. But she's going to home port here in Miami out of Terminal C. And so will I go on that one? Probably not. The reason I say that is it's going to be doing 7 nights exclusively. It will not be doing the short cruises like you will find on the one out of West Palm that will do 3, 4, 5 nights. That's not going to be here. This one will be exclusively for 7 nights. And so I probably won't give it a whirl. I keep looking at Margaritaville, trying to find a way to get over there. Maybe I will just check the box to see what it's like, especially the itinerary is good. But right now, I'm really on the celebrity wagon. I am enjoying my celebrity sailings. So if I'm going to be booking more going forward, it's probably going to be celebrity, I have to imagine. But I will certainly be keeping an eye out for when Margaritaville comes into town. Greg agreeing that doing what I want to do when I want to do it is the best part of solo travel. I explored Australia solo. I go to Disney World solo. Toronto was solo. Greg even moved to Toronto or to Australia solo and had to make a whole new friend group based on his work and efforts. There's lots of things that you can do solo, and it is so empowering. I'm glad that there's a lot of solo people out here that can chime in and be like, absolutely, this is the best thing that I have done. I totally agree with all of that. All right. Any more comments? We may keep this short tonight. I still have to pack for my flight tomorrow at 6:45 in the morning, and I need to be in an Uber probably about 4:45 in the morning. So I do not need to keep this going too terribly late tonight. So apologies. But we'll see if there's any last minute comments, questions. I don't want to cut anybody off if there is anything, but I probably will start wrapping here in a little bit. So, Gene, use your United Club entry quite a bit and never seem to hit lines. United is one of the lines that I have literally never traveled on. I maybe have been on one United flight. I've done probably 200,000 miles with JetBlue. I've done 180 with American, and I've done about 250,000 with Delta. But I've never done United. So they've not had a strong presence when I was in Boston. They don't have a strong presence here in Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So I've just never considered them. But funny story, I have status with whatever alliance they are with, SkyTeam potentially, because I will fly Turkish Airways internationally a good bit. They've got great direct service from here to Istanbul, and then I can get anywhere basically in that region of the world directly from there. It's wonderful, and their pricing model has been awesome. And so I do have status, the lowest tier, nothing extravagant, with Turkish, which then gives me the partner airline thing for the United Airlines. I forget what it is. The One World Sky Team, whatever it happens to be. So I should start taking it more, but I don't really have anywhere that I'm going on it. I'm Frontier, a lot of Frontier these days, and Frontier doesn't have lounges. The only downside, let's talk about this, is the pricing. Everything is more expensive. And so, what Greg is referencing here is when you go on a cruise by yourself, that stateroom is going to cost you, let's say, $2,000, whether somebody's in the room with you or not. You are going to have to pay $2,000. So, if you go for one person, it's costing you the full 2,000. If you can split it with somebody, it's going to cost you about 1,000 each for that. So, it is a 50% discount. If you're looking at cruise lines like Celebrity, as much as I love them these days, they're going to charge you even more if you tell them you are going solo. First of all, they're going to block out a lot of cabins. And so you're just not going to book them if you're by yourself. The one that they're going to let you book is going to be, instead of $2,000 for two people in the room, it's going to be $2,500 for just you in that same exact room. Work around from this, and I don't often share how to manipulate the system, but in this case, I will because it's insulting that they do this. You have to book a phantom person on your reservation. So I book Brandon, and then I book Brandon too. And because I have two people there, I get the pricing for two people. So I only pay the 2,000, not the 2,500, and I get to choose whatever room that I want to. So do keep that in mind. Downsides to that is you're going to have the port fees and taxes you're going to have to pay for both people. But when your Brandon number two is a no-show, they will refund that back to your credit card. So it's a little bit more money out of pocket. It is a higher deposit because you got to pay a deposit for two people, but all of that will come back to you or be applied to your account once you are on the ship. So do keep that in mind. All right. So with that, looks like we are at the end of the comments at this point. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We just hit the hour mark tonight. There will be more. I will try my best to be back next week on the usually scheduled time of Tuesday. If it changes, I'll post it, and hopefully no technology snafus or issues next week. I apologize. I'm being a few minutes late tonight. But thank you all. This is my favorite thing to do on any night of the week is come and hang out with you all. I thoroughly appreciate it, and we will chat soon. If nothing else, I will see you on a weekend cruise soon, hopefully. Thanks, everyone.